Now, the International Criminal Court has vowed to continue to do its work despite comments from the U.S. National Security Advisor that America wants the court to die. Prosecutors are expected to launch an investigation into alleged U.S. war crimes and crimes against humanity in Afghanistan. Although America is not a member of the ICC, the court has jurisdiction over such crimes if they were committed in Afghanistan, a member country. Our correspondent Jack Parrock explains.
The initial response from the International Criminal Court is to say that it's aware of the speech made by the US National Security Advisor John Bolton and that it will continue to do its work undeterred. That's what the spokesperson of the ICC has been saying. Now, they also have continued to say that the International Criminal Court is an independent and impartial judicial organization. Having said that, this threat from the United States will be of significant importance to the International Criminal Court, and specifically those judges who've been threatened. John Bolton saying that any judges that continue to pursue this case regarding to the Afghanistan investigation where some US soldiers may be implicated or charged with crimes like war crimes or crimes against humanity, that those judges could face sanctions in the United States, either by not being allowed a visa to go there, or perhaps if they have financial investments in the United States or with US banks, that those could be frozen. And that is a significant threat. The International Criminal Court relies on the cooperation of its member states. The US, China and Russia, the big sort of military powers, aren't members, but they have been involved in the court's workings in the past. The ICC doesn't have a police force and it relies on the cooperation of its member countries and other international partners. And we saw that, for instance, in the case of Dominic Ongwen, the former LRA commander that handed himself in, actually, in the Central African Republic to US forces that were operating there before being arrested and transferred for trial at the International Criminal Court in The Hague. Now, the US is also threatening other countries and other actors that are involved in that, so this really could hamper the prosecutors' investigation into Afghanistan and could have a serious effect on how that investigation goes forward. What we'll all wait to see now is whether the 123 members of the International Criminal Court, situated all over the world, how strongly they come out in support of the ICC. We're likely to see most of that when that Assembly of States Parties meets in The Hague in December. Jack Parrock, CGTN, Brussels.
I'm here to make a major announcement on U.S. policy toward the International Criminal Court, or ICC.
A longtime critic of the International Criminal Court, U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton said Washington will retaliate against the ICC if it attempts to indict Americans for the alleged use of torture in Afghanistan.
We will not cooperate, engage, fund, or assist the ICC in any way. The President will not allow American citizens to be prosecuted by foreign bureaucrats, and he will not allow other nations to dictate our means of self-defense.
Bolton says the U.S. will ban ICC judges and prosecutors from coming into the country and sanction their finances, even prosecute them in the U.S. criminal system. He also threatened to dock foreign aid and military assistance from countries that cooperate with the court. Bolton says he was responding to the ICC informing the White House that it plans to open an investigation into allegations of U.S. war crimes. Bolton's remarks come on the very same day that the U.S. State Department announced plans to close the Washington office of the PLO, or Palestinian Liberation Organization. The State Department said this decision was consistent with U.S. policy to oppose and punish Palestinian attempts to bring Israel before the ICC. It is not the first time this administration has disappointed the Palestinians. In May, the Trump administration moved the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. And over the weekend, Trump slashed $25 million in U.S. aid to Palestinian hospitals in East Jerusalem.
The U.S. administration decision to protect Israel from war crimes and crimes against humanity that Israel is committing in the occupied Palestinian territories, and to dismantle the system of international law and the mechanisms of international law.
The White House notified the Palestinians last November it would close their Washington office unless they entered serious peace talks with Israel. So what does this mean for a White House peace plan for the region? Bolton says Jared Kushner, President Trump's son-in-law, is still working on it. Jessica Stone, CGTN, Washington.